unfiltered and unapologetic. She's in your face like, yeah, bitches, I said it. Authentic heart, honestly, really just see to believe. Talking about life and all the betweens. She's candidly Casey.
Welcome back to Anybody Saying This. When I was first thinking about this, I knew that you had to be my first guest. I've known you from Facebook. I think you're one of the most interesting, funny people ever. I don't really follow anybody on there because most people get on my nerves, but you're smart and funny and beautiful, and the way you deal with online trolls needs to be studied. Welcome, Tara.
Thank you. And I have to say, you're one of my favorites. So when you give me all those really nice compliments, I'm like, I think that about you. I don't follow anybody at all, but if I haven't seen anything of yours in a while, I'm like, what's Casey doing? What's she up to? Who is she pissing off? What's going on? What is she talking about? What's on her mind? I wish we lived closer.
I do too. That's,
because
I think, the
we
hard...
would be like hanging out.
Yeah, that's the hard thing because I don't have a lot of family that I talk to.
Yeah,
and
same.
Facebook has really become, especially during COVID, like connecting with everybody. When did we become friends? Like, when did that happen?
What year did you move to Florida?
2021.
I want to say it was like...
Before that.
I think it was like just as you were moving, maybe?
Yeah, I probably was...
Because you had a different house first, right?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, I remember that. So I think it was like just as you were moving. So it's been quite a while.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what it is. I don't remember the first thing that I saw, but 5 pounds. 5 pounds is huge on me. It's like, oh my God. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's bullshit. And the whole menopause thing is not easy. No,
not at all. Not at all. Where are you at in the stage of that?
Somewhere between wanting to go jump off a bridge. You know what's really weird? Okay, so I'm 53. 53.
So you're 10 years, so we're 10 years apart.
Yeah. And I sit here and I try to remember, like, did I go through massive menopause? Because I can't really remember. I do know that I still get hot flashes. And the weight gain, that's been the biggest sign for me. Kind of crazy brain, but I realize I have zero patience, but I've never really been super patient. Mm-hmm. Now it's just more laced with I literally do not give a flying fuck. I just don't care. So my grandma would always say when you get to be a certain age, you just don't care about anything anymore. Like you just don't care. And I thought, yeah, cool, I get it. I already didn't care a whole lot about stuff anyway. Turned 50 and I was like, I ain't doing shit that I do not want to do. I'm not doing it. Don't want to have people over? Not doing it. Don't want to host for a holiday? I'm not doing it. I don't want to go to a certain family function or event? I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It is awesome to just not care. And that has rolled over even into like online stuff because I used to get some hurt feelings. Like 5-6 years ago. I'd get really like, oh my gosh, these people are being so mean. Now it's like, yeah, they're being mean. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. Nothing. I don't care. You can call me stupid, ugly, fat, whatever. Like, okay, and I've been insulted by better people. Don't know what to tell you, right? But what I do feel sad about is how mean people are, just unwarranted. And that, to me, that sad part of humanity, that gets me. I don't get it. It'll make my heart just feel so sad.
Do you find that it's coming from more men or women?
Men. And I'll tell you this, not to be like, I'm a whole that in a box of crackers, but I used to be pretty freaking cute when I was little. I was never younger.
Okay, well, hold on. Just flag on the play. I hate to even hear you say that because you're beautiful.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Honest to God, I don't think that about myself. I don't. There are days where I'm like, okay, you're looking pretty cute. Like, you're cute, but, I'm not like a beauty. I'm not a classic beauty. Like, none of that. And if other people think so, that's great. I don't get up and go, ugh. But the face is changing as you get older. I see some structural changes, and that's hard for me. But going back to the people online, the men are so nasty right now. I don't understand. I don't know if it's because I have a very strong presence and a no fuck with me attitude, and they don't like that.
They don't like that. That's the thing with you, and I know I said let's not talk politics, but here we are. Politics, religion, I have issues with, right? And we are very much aligned with that. You will write the most wonderfully written, like, hey, just take a step back, read this. They can't even go through the number one, you're making sense. It's educated. You're not just throwing your opinion out. You're giving the facts and you're breaking it down, and people lose their shit. I see it. I'm like, this is the problem. Like, nobody can have a conversation.
No.
at all. And this is where we're at. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, just look at this for a second. Just think about it for a minute. You don't have to agree with me. I don't care if you do or if you don't. At the end of the day, their opinion isn't affecting me. But food for thought. Let's just have a conversation. And it's really sad that people can't do that.
No.
It's just bizarre.
The thing that bothers me the most, the one that you wrote about the religion I thought was great. It was, and I don't know if you said there's 10,000, 15,000, or 30,000 different gods, but you can't just assume that, right? So the thing that bothers me is when somebody says, well, that's against the Bible, or who said I believe in that? Like,
exactly.
According to your rules, fine. Maybe what I did you don't like, but if I'm not what you are, you telling me something means absolutely nothing because I don't follow what you follow. And that's why also another thing, when people say, I'll pray for you, I don't care what religion you are. If you want to pray, pray. But I've seen people when somebody died, it was just recently, somebody's grandmother passed away, and somebody wrote and said, I'll pray for you. And they wrote back and said, thanks, but I don't believe in that. And I'm like, man, whether you believe in it or not, right? Take that aside. If you want to call a prayer in to your higher power on my behalf, I have no problem with that.
So the only time I'm going to be like, I don't need you to pray for me, is if you're saying to me.
I know what you're going to say.
I know you know.
If you say something snarky, they're like, I'll pray for you.
Take
exactly.
That and
shove that up your ass.
Exactly. I don't need you to fucking pray for me.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I'm just fine.
I'll pray
so
for you.
That's the only time I'll be pissed off. But here's the thing. I don't care if you're praying to the God of whatever. You can pray to Shiva. You can pray to Jesus. You can pray to whomever you want. I don't care because for me, prayer, meditation, it's all energy, right? So if you're praying in a beautiful, nice, kind way, that's nice, kind energy, and I'm hoping that will ripple through the universe and do its thing, right? I'm fine with that. Totally fine with that.
But I think that goes across the board with no one's being kind to anybody. And we're saying terrible things. I personally just scroll because I'm not going to leave somebody a negative comment. I don't even like replying negative back to people because I'm afraid I'm going to get jammed up, which has happened so many times.
Yeah.
And that's honestly why I started the podcast, because I'm like, every time I go live, they erase it in 30 days anyway. So I'm putting all this personal stuff out there just for them to erase it. I'm not trying to make money on it. I want it out there.
Oh, and like, who cares though? You know, like I get that a lot. They're like, oh, well, now you got the little blue check mark. You're writing for money. I'm like, this is not my job. Do you know how much I've made? Like 25 cents. I don't make shit. $20 doesn't fucking help me. If I make $20, okay, yay.
I had 1 month when I was going to New Jersey to visit, and I was just dumping content like constantly in the RV. And that month I made a little over 300, and I was like, holy shit, because usually it's $22.
Yeah.
$23.
You have to, like, bust your ass.
And I don't want to do that. And you can tell the people who are making money because they're putting ridiculous shit out there to have people comment. And I'm like, I'm not even playing this game with you.
I'm not either. I won't do it.
Yeah.
I don't post for likes. I don't care. They could all disappear tomorrow. I wasn't trying. But I don't think people realize, first of all, you have to dump tons of time and energy. You have to not only that, but if you just let it sit, you don't make as much as if you interact.
I'm all about the post and ghost.
Me too.
I put it and I'm back to my life. No.
Oh, God. It's ridiculous. People are just kind of ridiculous, and I try not to let them make me become more cynical than I already am. I will never go unwarranted into somebody's space and just attack. Even if they've written the most ridiculous bullshit that I've ever seen in my entire life, and I completely disagree with every fiber of my being, so be it. I will not go and attack you in any way. If I don't agree with you, I will scroll by. It took me years to get there, literally, because I would respond. I'd be like, this is so fucking stupid, blah, 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 blah. But you know what? It's like, I'll share what I believe on my page. And if you want to believe that stuff, go for it. But if you think it's okay for you to post your bullshit either on my page, or if you want to be sneaky and come into my messages, it will not stay hidden. I'm sorry. You will learn a lesson. At least you're going to learn not to fuck with me anyway. Petty? Maybe. Childish? Sure. Sometimes I am. Deal with it. Sometimes you gotta just highlight their bad behavior.
And is this as you get older? Because you said it took you time to get here. Because I feel like I've always been this way. I don't know why. Honestly, I do know why. I grew up, and I know these people are going to listen to this and whatever. The saying of my family was, be a duck, let it roll off your feathers. And even as a child, I was like, yeah, fuck that. We're not doing that. It made me just the complete opposite, where I've actually talked about this in therapy, because I'm like, I don't even know if I am who I would have been, or if I am the rebellious person who heard certain things and just was like, I want no parts. I don't even know. This episode is sponsored by Boron. Since 1932, Boron has been dedicated to providing high-quality medicines made from Earth's best resources. As a world leader in homeopathic medicines, they're passionate about sharing sustainable health solutions for the whole family. You can find Boron medicines at retailers nationwide. Learn more at boronusa.com. All right, I want to share something that's been a staple in my routine for almost 2 years now, Primal Queen. These are female-focused beef organ supplements, which might sound a little different, but hear me out. They are packed with some of the most nutrient-dense ingredients you can give your body. We're talking about real, whole food nutrients that support things like energy, hormone balance, skin, hair, and overall vitality, especially during seasons like perimenopause when your body needs the most support. I've started taking them almost 2 years ago, and not only has my skin never looked better, I just feel more supported overall. It's about nourishing your body from the inside out in a way that actually makes sense. If you've been feeling off or just want to level up your wellness routine, this is something to look into. Go to primalqueen.com/Casey. That's primalqueen.com/KASI and save 25%. Don't overthink it. Your future self will be glad you didn't. Let's talk about one of the easiest wellness upgrades you can make, switching to real high-quality honey. I use Bees and Trees honey every single day, and it's one of those small habits that actually makes a big difference. It's raw, pure, and packed with natural goodness, nothing like the overly processed stuff you find on most shelves. Whether you're adding it to your coffee, tea, or just taking a spoonful, it's a simple way to support your body while enjoying something sweet. And especially if you're focusing on hormone health, energy, and feeling your best overall. What you put into your body matters. This is one of those feel-good staples I always keep on hand. If you want to upgrade your routine, you can get 10% off at checkout with code CaseyDiStefano at beesandtrees.com. That's www.beesandtrees.com and use code KASIDESTEFANO. It's a small change, but it's a powerful one. How are you online, and how do you keep your mental health good dealing with this shit?
So for me, I've always been a rebellious type. I've also never really been popular. Even in like elementary school, I was bullied. And then when I got to high school, I was just kind of overlooked. I wasn't anybody's, top pick. I wasn't a jock by any means. I was in choir, so I was like a dork in that respect. I was too shy to audition for the theater that we had, our theater company. I was way too shy and insecure. But I was in choir. I was smart, and I took some AP classes because I wanted to graduate early, and I kind of just never really fit in, and I was okay with that. But I think when you're bullied in school, you develop a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, to be honest, right? You're always kind of on the defensive. And then, for me, I was raised in a super tumultuous, very abusive household. My mother was my abuser as a child. She was mentally, emotionally, and physically abusive. It's such a long story, but my dad was actually my stepdad. I didn't know that, though. I was raised with him until I was about 13, then I found out he wasn't my real dad. But he was a raging alcoholic. He used to beat the crap out of my mother. He never touched me, but beat the crap out of my mother. So I witnessed all that. Like, he broke her arm, he broke her face, like all kinds of stuff, right? So between all the shit that she did, just in general to me and in life, she's just some really miserable person. And him, you start realizing like bullies exist everywhere, and you have to kind of stand up for yourself, because at an early age I realized nobody was coming to rescue me. Not the God that I prayed to, because I was raised Catholic, went to Catholic school, the whole 9 yards, because I'm Italian and Polish. I'm a mutt, basically, but I was raised primarily by my mother's side of the family. It was Italian, full-blooded. So God didn't save me from my bullies. My family members just kind of skirted around the issue, even though they knew what my mother was like, and even though they even witnessed it sometimes. They would just be like, oh, you know, Kathy, don't do that, or, oh, you know, leave her be, she's just a little girl, whatever, right? But nobody ever really intervened. So you learn very young that if you don't stand up for yourself, nobody will. Nobody is going to come and rescue you. So I think that started that formation. So I remember 5th grade one time, these girls, they just had it out for me all the time. And they traveled in a pack. There was about 12 of them. They coming down the alley one day to essentially beat me up. Okay. So I went down there because we lived in an apartment upstairs, and I went down there and I just little thing, I'm only 10, and they're facing me and they're like, we're going to kick your ass. I'm like, okay, one at a time, let's go. And then I remember specifically this very tall girl with very bad makeup. And I remember just like giving her shit about her blue eyeshadow. I'm like, I'm thinking later, am I trying to get my ass kicked? Because I was like, you know, why's your mom basically let you go out looking like a clown? And I was just like, they turned around and walked away because I think they understood I wasn't going to be intimidated.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so you start to develop a thicker skin, and like my first marriage was a disaster, and he was abusive and all the things. And again, you have to learn that you have to stand up, and I was a single mother. It's like if you're not protecting yourself, nobody will come to help you. You can pray all day long, but God isn't sending me down any miracles here. You got to take care of yourself. At some point, you're like, I'm not going to be a victim anymore. I'm not going to allow myself to be bullied. And the first time I left home was when I got married, and I was 19, and I moved to Germany because he was military. And like, I can't get much farther away from my mother at that point, right? It's like, there's a big difference, right? We're putting in a huge, huge distance between us. And from the get-go, it wasn't good, but in my mind, it was better than home. So, you know, I stuck it out, right, as we do. And eventually, enough is enough. And when he persisted, and now I have babies and little kids and all the things, it's like, we're done. And you just end up kind of, I won't say callous, but you certainly end up with, I think some will definitely end up with this no, don't fuck with me attitude. And I think that's kind of where that comes from. So now, when like a stranger wants to give me a ration of shit, I'm like, who the fuck are you? You know, like, I've been through so much more than you could ever imagine. I mean, maybe they've been through stuff too. Hurt people, they say, will hurt people. Or you can take that and learn to be a person that doesn't hurt people. Like for my mother, I learned how to be the right type of mother. I learned that there are things I would never do. So I thank her for that. I truly do. You'll either get better, you'll get stronger, and you'll let shit roll off your back, because nobody can hurt me. I've been physically hurt. I have been mentally abused. I have been emotionally hurt. There is nothing anybody online can say to me, because first of all, none of it's true. They don't know me. So you can say I'm not smart. Okay, well, I'm pretty smart. You can say I'm not funny. You can say I'm not pretty. You can say I'm fat. Like, I have a mirror. I happen to know when my pants get tight. I don't need you to point that out for me. It used to hurt my feelings somewhat. Not like I would go jump off a bridge, hurt my feelings, but I would get hurt feelings. And now I just look at it and laugh. It's like, you can't bother me. You don't know me. So I do think, as far as that goes, this is interesting. And I always joke, like, maybe I'm just a little, I don't know. But I do like who I am. And I can honestly sit here and go, you know what, I actually am a pretty good person. Like, yeah, I can be a bitch. I can be stubborn. I can be opinionated. It's all stuff I'm working on all the time to try to listen more, talk less, not be so rigid in what I think is right, because of course I have my opinions. I think when you're honest with yourself, that's when you can start to make those changes on the things that you're not so keen about. I think my mental health, as far as all that goes, is actually really pretty good, considering all the shit that I've been through in my life. I was molested by a cousin. I was like the whole 9 yards, like the whole thing, a crazy mother, And I didn't know my real dad. And when I found out the circumstances of how I came to be on this planet, it was interesting. And then I had to sit and wonder, like, why did he leave? And then became this whole long trek, a saga, actually. I didn't find out who my birth father was, like face to face, although he had already passed. But it was 2019, and I had done all the ancestry, and I'm so glad I did. I know a lot of people are like, oh my god, they have your DNA. I'm like, look, they want to fucking clone me, that's their headache. Whatever, you want to use my DNA and make 1 million more of me? Fine, because it actually really was helpful, and I'm so glad. So I did ancestry.com and 23andMe. I did them both, and I got the results. And in those results, I had found photos of my grandfather's burial site. He had served in the military, and it came up with pictures, and I had to, like, my mother had wrong information that she had given me, either intentionally or she was very young, so maybe she just didn't know. So I had to piece together all this. So I had like a wrong first name, I had a misspelled last name. And so Eric and I literally sat for 2 days piecing all these pieces together, and I ended up finding a cousin that I reached out to online in Facebook Messenger, just hoping and praying that she'd see this random message come in, right? And she did. And she responded, and then we ended up with a phone call. And I was like, hi, I think your uncle was my dad. Like, that's like the most awkward conversation. And I ended up going to Virginia to see them. And yes, it was 100% him, beyond a shadow of a doubt. And I met his sister, one of his, it was really amazing. But you still have these questions like, why did you go? Why did you leave? Why didn't you ever come back? His sister said that he knew I existed and he had mentioned it to her. That's really hard to kind of put behind you. And like you sit there and you're like, oh, what my life would have been had I had him in my life, you know, had you been present? Like, who knows, right? It's weird when you kind of start getting all philosophical about that stuff. But all those different things just kind of make you who you are, and it's either going to make you or break you. And so you have to dig in and just decide, like, am I just going to let all this crap just bury me, or can I just learn from it? And I really do try to learn from everything that goes good or bad in my life. That's just, I think you don't really have another choice sometimes.
First of all, thank you for sharing that. We have more in common. It's crazy. You know, I remember the first time I heard that hurt people. And then I was like, but why do I try to make people laugh? Why do I try to make people smile? Online, especially when I put my goofy stuff, TikTok for me, I use for business. Same thing with Instagram. Facebook is really like my diary. So I'm on there just being a goofball. And some of the videos where I'm being the most crazy are my worst days, where I'm feeling sad or something's wrong, and then I turn that into, I need to make somebody laugh, because then that makes me feel better. So when I hear people saying that to me, I'm like, I don't think you understand. A lot of people that have a funny sense of humor have a dark past.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And
because if you don't try to make light out of something, you know, and I have like gallows humor. Do you have like really dark sense of humor?
Oh my
Sometimes
God,
I really do.
I say shit that my husband's like, I'm like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, same. Mine too is like, what the fuck are you saying? You know,
yeah. I'm like, oh, that's
and I
not
think
fun.
you're
That
spot
wasn't
on
funny?
about that.
Okay, but
Yeah,
I thought it was hilarious.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, me too. I cracked myself up.
We went to a movie. We saw The Housemaid. Did you see that?
No, I haven't. I read the book.
I read the book too. So I wanted to see it.
Sure.
We went where he's pulling his tooth out, right?
Yes.
And everyone's like doing this, and Steve's doing that, and I'm laughing. Like, I was laughing. I thought it was the funniest fucking thing. He looked at me, and I'm like, I'm sorry. Because, like, it was just... So then I'm like, oh my God. So I told my therapist, I'm like, what was that? Because that wasn't the first time that happened. I've watched other, like, I don't like horror shows at all. Movies, I'm not into that.
Okay.
But there's certain things that if the person who deserves it gets it, I'm laughing. I'm not grossed out. So she was like, no, that's a trauma response. And I was like, oh, it's the same thing why sometimes I go to funerals and I have to walk out because I start giggling because nothing's funny, but I'm so worked up that I'm like...
It could take one thing though, right? It could be like one person that maybe says a word kind of funny or has a funny look on their face in like a strange situation, and you just like catch that real quick. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I do the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's totally a trauma response.
So I
Because
try
you
to
have
tell
to,
him
like,
that. Sometimes, like, if somebody
Yeah.
gets hurt, and I'm not talking like really, really hurt, but like you get hurt, but you're fine. I'm cracking
Yeah.
up while I'm
Me
putting the
too.
Band-Aid on.
Yes,
And he
me
gets
too.
so mad, and I'm like, it's my body. Nothing's funny. It's my
Yes.
body. It's my body processing something that I don't know how to explain this. I don't actually think it's funny. It's a nervous laugh.
Yes.
It's just what happens.
Yeah.
If somebody does something to try to say, I'm like, you can say whatever you want about me. I've said it myself. That's fine. I M&M myself all the time. You're never going to hurt my feelings. You're never going to do any worse for me than I've done for myself. It doesn't matter.
Right?
Go for it.
Yep. And that's so true, because no one will ever talk to you as bad as you talk to yourself. So it's like, trust me, anything that you've already said, I've either been insulted by somebody far better than you, or I've already said it all myself to myself. It's like, you're not going to bother me. I totally get that, the inappropriate timing of the outbursts of laughter. I am that person that will laugh if you fall. I don't think it's funny that you got hurt. And Eric, it took a long time for him to understand I wasn't being insensitive. I can't help it. I don't think that your pain is funny. On that same token, Eric will always say, like, you're the funniest person. You've got like the sharpest wit. And sometimes it is just like really rapid fire. And I'll tell him I'm funny because like you feed the funny, because he plays really well into my wit. I'll equate it sometimes almost to like a Ricky Ricardo thing, where she would always like get on his pronunciation of things or whatever, right? It's like that open door and she would just like run through the door. I do the same thing. It's like that quick. And he'll just be like, oh my God, you cracked me up. Even if he's the butt of my joke, he knows it's just the joke presented itself and they took the opportunity. It's not necessarily like, I'm not saying like you're an idiot. I think it's like a form of protection and self-preservation, to be honest.
So let me ask you this, because for me, I like when I can be with people that I'm ping-ponging off of. I need that mental stimulation. So you know how they say like 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink? I always say 2 in the think. Do you understand what I'm saying? I need that mental. Yeah. And that's how my husband is. He can keep up with me. I have to be able to laugh with you. And that's my number one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, the boxes were checked and here we are.
That is so true. Because I dated this guy and he was so freaking dry. I was like, yeah, no, this can never be. Like, this could never be.
No, and that and someone who's super serious and literal all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're like...
Well...
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, no. But it's so interesting. So, like, Eric and I, we really do agree on everything for the most part. And he gets my crazy sense of humor. Yeah. And we can tease each other, like, really good-naturedly. He loves to tease me on words that I say. Because he says I say them in ways that he's never heard anybody say them before. But it's good-natured, and we'll tease each other back and forth, and it's funny. He has a sense of humor, and he plays well into mine, and vice versa. It's a good mix. It's good when you get that.
Yeah.
It's one of the important things, as I know.
I only have 2 on my checklist.
Okay, well, check and check. Wait, but your husband does have great hair. He
does. He does have great hair.
He has got great hair.
We've been married almost 11 years.
Okay.
Together, 14. Like during COVID, I don't even like saying that fucking word. During 2020.
I know, right?
I hate it.
Yes.
It's like I can't even go through my phone album of 2020 because it gives me, I'm like, I can't handle this.
Like a visceral reaction? Yeah.
Yes. But we were so in sync. Like so in sync when so many couples weren't, and a lot of people got divorced. So we were so in sync, and then we moved to Florida together. I remember getting here, and it was stressful buying the house and finding the house. Once we got through, I'm like, man, we just like did something that a lot of people don't do. So I really don't take too many things seriously anymore. I think I was taking myself too seriously at one point, and I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. Like if there's a piece of laundry on the floor, it used to piss me off so bad. And I'm like, why am I getting so mad? It's not the end of the world. So I do annoying things too. So it's like I can't nitpick. But then you get these women who've never been married. They're like 20 years old. And then they're like,
like, shut up, bitch. You don't know shit.
Yeah, you need to talk to somebody who's been married, somebody preferably in perimenopause or post-menopause, right?
Yeah.
Talk to us
exactly
what it's like, because you can't go by that.
So how much freaking life experience, like, do they even have? Like, you don't have a clue when you're 20. And I used to think that was such bullshit, but it's true. You do not have a clue when you are 20.
No.
You barely have a clue when you're 30. You start getting some clues when you're in your 40s. And I don't know, I can only go up to 53 because that's as far as I've gotten so far in this game. But it's like, once you get to that point, you're like, oh my gosh, you can look back and like, I really didn't know a whole lot of shit then. I thought I did, but I didn't when I was younger. I was high strung. And I had a very definitive idea of how things needed to be. Later, as you get older, you're like, that does not require my energy. That does not require my attention. That's fine, right? It's like, who cares?
Yeah, pick your battles.
Unless you... Yes, pick your battles. It's a waste of time. It's just a waste of time. I try to be so much more present and mindful of my moments, like the moment that I'm in. And I try to even impress this upon my kids because it's like nothing really is not fixable. And you're never really without a choice. You may not like the choice you have, but you always have one. And people don't like to hear that. No one really makes you do anything, just like nobody ever makes you feel anything. You are giving them that, right?
Yeah. I think once you realize that you are the one in control of your emotions, nobody can make you feel any kind of way, jealous, angry.
Right.
That is your decision. Everything stops because exactly what you said. Oh, well, they made me. They didn't do anything. They did the action and then you chose to feel a certain way about it. And once you master that, nothing fucking matters. Okay, ladies, I want to talk about something that completely changed my life, and I don't say that lightly. If you're in your 30s or 40s and suddenly feeling off, low energy, mood swings, anxiety, not sleeping, weight changes, and you're wondering what the heck is happening to me, it might be perimenopause. I've been a patient with MIDI Health for almost 2 years now, and it was the first time I actually felt heard, understood, and taken seriously. They specialize in perimenopause and menopause care, and they create personalized treatment plans, so you're not just guessing or being told this is normal. For me, getting the right support made a huge difference in how I feel day to day. And now I'm actually a proud ambassador because I truly believe more women need to know this kind of care exists. This is truly women's health. You don't have to just push through and feel miserable. If you've been struggling and not getting answers, go check out MIDI Health at www.joinmidi.com and see what's possible for you. Okay, if you have celiac or even just gluten sensitivity, this is something you need to know about. Eating out or trying new foods can be stressful because no matter what anyone says, you never really know if something is truly gluten-free. That's why I use Nema. It's a portable gluten tester that lets you actually check your food before you eat it. And as someone with celiac, that peace of mind is everything. Instead of guessing or hoping for the best, you can feel confident about what you're putting in your body and avoid getting sick from hidden gluten. It's one of those tools that just makes life easier and takes away so much of the anxiety around food. If you want that extra layer of protection, head on over to nemanow.com and use code Casey at checkout to save 15% off. That's NIMANOW.com, code KASI. Trust me, once you have it, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. Let's talk about something nobody really wants to talk about, but we all deal with: gut issues. If you're feeling bloated, sluggish, or just not as regular as you'd like, it can throw off your entire day. That's where Inalax comes in. It's designed to support healthy digestion and help keep things moving gently and effectively without that harsh, uncomfortable feeling you get from a lot of other options. When your gut is working the way it should, everything else just feels easier. Your energy, your mood, your overall vibe. So if your body's been giving you signs, this might be something worth trying. Head on over to www.inalax.com and save 25% when you use code Casey at checkout. That's INULAX.com and code KASI. Go take care of your gut. You'll feel the difference.
And that's hard. It's not easy. It's not easy. It takes work, and it's always a conscious effort. I've had this conversation with people in my home, and I'm like, look, you can choose the way you want to react. But I literally go through my days where it's like, it's not a big deal. If I can't fix it right now, I don't need to think about it right now. I'll make a note, like, this needs my attention. But I will try very, very hard not to ruminate on it because it's like I can't go and deal with it right now. I need to do with something else. And it's true, but it's hard. People don't like accountability.
No. And I also think you can choose how you feel, and you can also choose who's in your life. I've raised both of my kids that way. I'm like, listen, even if it's me and I'm not treating you right, first of all, I'm never going to do that, but I don't ever want you to be like, oh, well, I have to talk to this person because it's my mom, or I have to talk to this person because it's my dad. Because that's another thing I heard all the time growing up. Well, that's your so-and-so. And I'm like, that's basically telling a kid, well, this person can treat you like shit, but they're blood, so it's okay.
So it's okay. No.
I broke that cycle. That is something I broke.
Yes, so did I. Yes, so did I. Because for the very reason, like I said, I've not spoken to my mother and I don't know how long. At least 8 years, maybe longer. And this is the second, and this is the final time. So I had given her a warning prior. This was many, many years ago. And she didn't stick to it. And I'm like, that's it. We're done. We're not doing this anymore. And then, of course, here's the other part of this. And you're probably like this too, I think. You're a deep feeler. I mean, you have deep emotions. And
depends.
I think, depends. I will still think, ooh, I'm probably being harsh and I should probably call my mom. I don't ever follow through with it. But it's always somewhere like, oh, Tara, just give her another chance. It's your mom. That's what I mean by like that emotional connection. It's hard sometimes to untangle the feelings of what you wish you had, if that makes sense. It's like, I wish for my mom to be the mom that I wanted or needed. So I miss having a mom. I don't miss that mom. And yet I will still feel like, oh, but it's my mom and she's getting old and I should probably talk to her. But then I'll take like a very quick mental catalog of all the stuff, that she did and said and blamed me for. My son to be on the autism spectrum. That one stung. That one hurt. So all I have to do is sit for a minute and just think about that and like, nope, I'm good. And so yes, you can cut your mother and your father or your sister or your brother or whomever. Draw the line. It doesn't matter who that person is. If they are hurting you repeatedly, if it makes you feel bad to be with them, if they are unhealthy and toxic, just cut the cord. You'll be okay. People think, I can't do it. It's my mother, it's my dad, it's my whomever. You'll be okay. It's hard, but you'll be fine and you will actually be better off for it in the end.
I think that was the perfect way to end this, because that really, I want people to hear that because it's so important. And I think a lot of us were raised with that you have to talk to this person mentality. And it's important because there is peace in the silence. There is
so much. And when you cut those people out and then you start feeling that loss, remind yourself that what you're missing is the idea of the person that you wanted them to be. They cannot pour from an empty pot. So they don't have it within them for whatever reason. Very, very, very few people will change. Very few people are going to change. And you'll feel a longing sometimes. But it's not for that person. It's just what you wish they could have been. And you won't feel better by bringing them back into your life because they will be the same exact person 9 times out of 10. Sometimes people change. Sometimes they do. But most often they don't. And it's okay to cut those people out, no matter who it is. It sucks, but it's okay.
It's perfect.
Yeah. So
thank you so much for being here and doing this. Do you want to share any socials where people can follow you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can follow all of my craziness on Facebook at Only Tara Leigh.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I loved it.
This was awesome. This was so fun. Plus, we got to chat, which is nice.
No time for the fakes, be Casey.